All right, folks, we'll get started in just a second. I'm again helping just some people with some tech issues, trying to get them in. So just give me hold tight one moment, and then we'll get started. All right, so again, sorry for the delay, just again helping a couple
people with some tech stuff. So we're going to start today, as I said in my announcement, with talking about email communication. And then I'm going to review the assignment, and then we will have our peer critique and you will debrief with me. 1 second, someone else needs the passcode. Goodness. Okay, should be good. All right. So let's start with that stuff about email. All right, do I have the PowerPoint ready? Yes. So I did again, so you'll see it says ETWR 1372 because I did initially create this for my grammar and style class where we focus on grammar and style issues related to professional writing. But I did want to, again, a lot of people come to this class and they want to know more about how to write an email. So here we go. So let's review the following sample message. So sample, hi Jennifer, I'm a recent graduate from ACC and I came across your resume while poking around on LinkedIn. I spent my entire time at ACC in the computer lab in one way or another. Tell Michael and James I said hi. Anyway, I was just struck by how much we have in common on our education interests and some of our experience. To the point, I just wanted to put a little bug in your ear regarding Startup ABC. We are right here in Austin and it's a small but badass outfit that takes a special type of person to fit in here. It's not corporate and has the best culture I've ever seen. You strike me as a potential candidate. There are a lot of plans for growth over the next 18 months, and we'll be looking to add to our ranks in the near future. We will be representing at Career Day, not me, but someone will. So go find the booth and bug them till they hire you. Perseverance is key. ABC historically doesn't recruit. They wait to see who keeps coming to them. It took me 2 career days and demonstrating my final capstone project to get an interview. Seriously, the program I wrote got me hired. I also had an online portfolio showing many of my other projects. I want to encourage you that if you can show your accomplishments and successes in the real world, and if you can apply your knowledge and actually build things well, that will absolutely overshadow a GPA. It sure did for me. Good luck. Sincerely, Robert W., employee, Startup ABC. So, no, just type in the chat. What do you notice about the level of formality in this message? Can't bring my chat up. Oh no. Yeah, no, there's almost no formality. And what are some of the specific? Yeah, and what are the some of this? It's definitely informal. And what are some of the specific linguistic cues that tell us that? What are some of the stylistic aspects? So Jennifer is still a student, so she wouldn't be addressed by a title because, so the context here is she's still at ACC. So unless you were going to say, here's, hello, student Jennifer, that might not work. Ideally, you know, there would be a title here. Again, this is a fake message. What are some other word choice cues? Yeah, badass as an adjective, definitely super informal. Poking around, good, yeah. All right, sorry. Okay, so yeah, poking around, saying badass, hi instead of hello. bug them till they hire you. Yeah, a lot of phrasing in here that suggests a more conversational tone, which this is, and I like to use this as a sample because sometimes, so this is written, Robert and Jennifer don't know each other. Jennifer is still a student at ACC. Robert is an alum, and he has reached out to her, but in a informal way. And so this is one of the things we want to think about when we're judging the context of our writing situation. Is not a lot of business interactions are formal, and it's often a good idea to start on a more formal level, but not all of them are super formal. So it's good to know how to adjust accordingly. So, hi, poking around. Anyway, I was just struck. Put a bug in your ear. Badass outfit, bug them till they hire you. Seriously. So a lot of little, just a lot of little rhetorical flares that put this in the realm of casual. So, what are your thoughts? How should Jennifer respond? Type A, B, or C in the chat. Using formal language, casual language, or not respond at all. We'll assume she was interested in the position or the company. All right, why do you say B, Zoe? All right, Nicholas and Ken, why are you saying A? Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I just typed that, but no, Zoe, like actually, I actually want to know why you said B. Like, it's like it's okay. Like, anyone who hasn't, we want to. I actually am interested in why people make these choices. Okay, so she's interested. Getting formal is more appropriate. Okay. Anyone who thinks B. Why do you think? So anyone, it doesn't have to be Zoe. We don't have to put anyone on the spot, but anyone else who thinks B, why do you guess you'd respond using casual language?
I think she might try to use casual language just because, responding with a formal after a casual might make the sender, I guess, feel out of place, I guess.
Yeah, you are on the right track. In this case, in specifying in this case, it would be appropriate to respond using casual language. And this is what's called mirroring. Mirroring is a technique in which, and again, many of us already do this unconsciously. You just didn't know it. So we're just giving it a name. Yeah, good, Cameron. Respond with casualness, but maybe increase her formality as she meets other people. That is definitely a possibility. And again, so mirroring, we're just giving this thing that many of us already do a name. It's where you take context clues from the writer's original communication to craft your response. If Jennifer had responded formally, that might have worked against her if she wanted the job. If she was formal when Robert was casual, you might think she didn't really want the job or that she wasn't a good fit. Not only is his message casual, but he talks about we're not corporate. So that suggests it is a company that it already has a sense of informality to it. In some companies, being too formal creates friction. My former spouse, I remember he did not, well, they didn't say this is why he didn't get the job, but he had a job interview at a startup, and he went there like in his 3-piece full-on formal suit. And he came back and he just looked so dejected, and he was just like, everyone there was wearing jeans and t-shirts. They looked at me like I was a weirdo for being so dressed up. Like, I don't think I got the job, like, because of this. Is that for sure? We have no way of knowing, but that was a telling moment, that going overboard on the formality actually set a weird tone for the interview. So know your audience. And that doesn't mean never wear a suit to a job interview. Like, if you're interviewing for a job at a law firm, wear that suit, like, rock it. But do some research on the company or the person who reached out to you. You know, maybe, you know, again, being more informal in your language, appropriate. If you had an interview, maybe wearing like nice pants and a nice button-down shirt would be more appropriate than a full suit. Because you do want to look nice for your interviews. You just don't want to overdo it. So here is Sarah's sample response, or Jennifer, sorry. Hi, Robert. Again, that hi. Question in the chat. One level up from what you would wear every day. Pretty good advice. Again, not 100% of the time, but like that's a pretty good one level up from what you wear every day. That's generally a good principle to abide by. Again, knowing that certain industries, definitely you want to be more formal. Yes, you wouldn't want to walk into Hot Topic wearing a tuxedo. Unless you could really like make that tuxedo Hot Topic-y. Anyway, so hi, Robert. Again, that hi, that less formal greeting. Thank you for reaching out to me. Exclamation point. Exclamation points definitely a little more formal, a little less formal. I'll pass along the regards to the computer lab guys. Again, just not referring to like specific titles, just keeping it, you know, some slang. I'm there just about any time I'm not in class. I also see a lot of similarities between our profiles. I'd love to hear more about what your path has been like post-graduation. And I highlighted that question mark because that's not the most appropriate use of a question mark, because she's asking a question, but the sentence is not phrased as a question grammatically. But that's actually a form of casual speech that I see a lot. So it's a common form of casual speech, not entirely grammatically correct, but casual speech often, doesn't stick to the rules. The bug is definitely in my ear. So not just being casual, but mirroring his specific language about startup ABC. I've been looking at the company and intrigued by insert thing you're intrigued by here. I'll be sure to stop by the booth at Career Day and be persistent! Exclamation point. Again, if you have more tips or information about what types of opportunities are available, please don't hesitate to contact me via LinkedIn or via email, jennifer@g.austincc.edu. Thank you, Jennifer, CIT class of 2018. So let's break it down. And again, this sample is in the context of a job search, but mirroring is something you can use in every interaction. And, you know, if you are the one who's initiating the message, again, that's up to you to decide how formal you need to be. If I'm writing to my department chair, who I've worked with for 9 years, who, like, you know, we text each other like emojis and GIFs and things. And I know you're supposed to be GIF, but I fall on the other side of that linguistic opinion. You know, I'm not going to be formal. If I need to write to, you know, the president of the college, who I don't interact with regularly and who definitely, you know, outranks me, I'm going to be a lot more formal. Or if I have to, you know, reach out to a certain vice president who is not a bad person, but we have some personality conflict. I'm going to be a lot more formal and deferential, not just because this person outranks me, but because I'm trying to show like, hey, we don't get along so great, but I'm making an effort to be nice. So breaking it down. So in the original, I'm a recent graduate and I came across your resume while poking around on LinkedIn. I don't know who really pokes around on LinkedIn if they're not actively job searching, but fiction, right? The response, thank you for reaching out to me. So this is translation, just being courteous. I spent my entire time at ACC in the computer lab. Tell Michael and James I said hi. I'll pass along the regards to the computer lab guys. I'm there just about anytime I'm not in class. Translates to I really am active on the things I have on my LinkedIn profile. And we have mutual people in our network, ones who can speak to my character. Anyway, I was struck by how much we have in common. I also see a lot of similarities. I'd love to hear more about what your path has been like. And so this is the guts of what Jennifer wants from Robert. She wants to know what made him email her. What can he offer? He can't give her a job, obviously. That's not his position. But what grounds do you connect, and what can you talk about? And why should he, follow up with you? If you keep the conversation going, no, he can't hire her, but maybe he can put in a really good word for her. So again, we talked about this last week in tech writing. We are focused on just saying it plain, but there is often a lot of subtle communication that goes, you've heard the phrase read between the lines. Like that's what we're doing, sort of reading and writing between the lines. I just wanted to put a bug in your ear. You strike me as a potential candidate. The bug is definitely in my ear. I've been looking at the company and I'm intrigued by X. Translates to, I've heard what you had to say and I'm hooked. The company sounds interesting or cool or exciting and in line with my objectives. I was interested enough to conduct more research. If you're in a job situation, again, that'll be a proverbial feather in your cap. There are a lot of plans for growth. We'll be representing a career day. Go find the booth and bug them. I'll be sure to stop by the booth and be persistent. Translates to, you've done your part successfully. I will be following up on my end. Finally, perseverance is key. If you can show your accomplishments in the real world and apply your knowledge, that will overshadow a GPA. Her response, if you have more tips or information about opportunities that are available, please don't hesitate to contact me. Translates to, your information was valuable to me. I want to keep this conversation going. I'd like you in my network. And here's an email so you can always reach me directly. It's always, that's a good one because again, do you want to have to like log into a third-party site to communicate, or do you, want a direct email? That again, it just shows like, hey, I trust you. Hey, I really do want to talk to you. Let's just go via email and not the ridiculous, terrible LinkedIn chat function. All right, some other professional email tips. Determine your intent before composing your message. Yes, this means take 30 seconds to think through your message before just blasting it off. This is actually, and I mean, my course announcements, those are a lot more involved than your standard work email, but I make a bullet point list of things I want to make sure I don't forget to include, and then I type them, and then I actually type up the announcement, and that's the one that goes out, and I do the video. So I actually do just bullet point planning for my messages, for my big course announcements before I send them. Now, do I sit there and like, I was just exchanging emails with Catherine about the tutoring session this week. Am I going to like bullet point the response to her that when she just needs, a copy of the rubric? No, but whenever you actually do have something substantial, 30-second bullet point list. You could do other forms of planning, but 30-second bullet point list, that's often the way to go. And remember, if you have a big request or a big objective, like finding a job, the recipient might not be able to help you with the entire project or issue. This is a thing I run into a lot. I do have to do a lot of work with data for some of my assistant chair administrative stuff. And, some of the data I can pull, but some of it I have to request. But I can't, you have to I can't request all the data all at once. It's, not fair. So you've got to understand that people do have limitations. And so they'll do their best to help you. But just, again, this is knowing your audience, knowing, can this person help me with all or part of it, or do I need them to put me in touch with someone who can? Sometimes when I'm unsure if someone can help, I'll say, this is what I need. I don't know if you're the person to go to on this. Please, if I've reached out incorrectly, please let me know who to follow up with instead. When in doubt, ask for more information, but keep your request specific. So if someone has written something that is confusing, ask. It's best not to assume or try to just figure out what they meant and then assume you got it. It's best to ask for more information. So, if someone emails me, and this is something that I get a lot, I need help with my paper. Okay, what specifically do you need help with? Then I look for more information so I can narrow it down. And that's definitely something you can do as well. Also consider how much space your message might take up in a smartphone screen. Try to keep work emails to 300 words or fewer. Again, I know my Big Monday course announcements are never 300 words or fewer. But for a standard work email, you want to keep it short. And sometimes you have to keep it long. So I am mentoring a newer faculty member who's doing a course redesign. And there's information he needs that as someone who's newer, he just doesn't have. So actually what I did is I said, here's the 2-sentence version, and below all that is just a big information dump, because you need all the information, but you don't want to have to wade through it. So I give him the 2-sentence version, and then I say below is the big information dump. Peruse it at your leisure. So you can also, if you need to write a really long email, just let people know up front, hey, this is going to be long because there just needs to be a lot of information here. Or here's the 2-sentence summary, read the rest as necessary. So give people space, or just warn them, hey, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, okay. Always include a subject line. So far, all y'all have been really good at that in this class. But some, and you know what, we all forget. I definitely send out the occasional email where I have forgotten to type a subject line. It doesn't happen so much in Google, but because Google warns you like, hey, do you want to really send this without a subject line? I still have done that sometimes because I'm just like, yes. And then I'm like, wait, oh no, it was asking me about the subject line. I wasn't just like being impatient with a computer notification. But like Blackboard doesn't actually run that little like, hey, you don't have a subject line. So if I send, a message from Blackboard, even I sometimes forget, but make it a habit to always include a subject line, and keep them short. Try to keep them 5 to 8 words if you can. It's like last week when I said, don't leave a long voicemail. Don't write a long subject line, no one needs that. But truly, one thing that will always make your professors and people you work with happy is if you remember a subject line most of the time. We're not perfect, but aim for most of the time. Okay, this one, don't compose angry if you can. And it sounds like I'm saying something like obvious, like, why would I? Because you get frustrated at work, people annoy you, and then you dash off a message that you then have regrets about sending. And yes, sometimes like responses are urgent and you have to still write an email when you're in a bad mood. Happens. One thing you might do is in a separate email, not connected to there, in a separate window or a separate Word document, compose it, just say all of the like angry things you want to say, get them all out, then delete that, and then compose again after you feel at least a little better. We tend to, most of us, not think very clearly when we're angry. We say rash things. We aren't thinking through potential solutions to we're just like reacting to the problem rather than thinking like through potential actual solutions. So it's a good idea to try not to compose angry. Also, if you have to send a difficult response of any kind, that doesn't mean angry, that could just mean like bad news or something else, try to take at least 30 minutes to gather your thoughts. Again, try. This is one of those things I learned when I talked about last week about the boss I had who, when an email chain was just like going on forever, he was like, nope, I'm getting on the phone. He would always, I mean, he would take way more than 30 minutes. When there was an email that really frustrated him or he really needed to think through what to say, he would sometimes take like 4 hours. He also owned his own business, so he had a lot of control over his day. You know, we don't all have that. But I was amazed because I'd be like, what? But like they emailed you, like, don't you have to respond? He's like, I do, but I don't have to respond right now. It's not going to do any good if I respond when I'm frustrated or confused or don't know the right thing to say. So he would get up and he would do something else. He would switch to another task for a couple hours and then come back. And most of the time it worked. Now, again, most of us don't have that level of control over our day. But if you can take 30 minutes, that's great. Now, if you don't even have 30 minutes, pause for a minute, go get like a drink of water, take a few deep breaths. If you're at home, like take a lap around your apartment or take a lap around your office. Just like do something to get even just a 60-second mental break can often help you sit down and write something a little more clearly, a little more professionally, a little more thoughtfully. So that one, don't compose angry and take whatever time you can. Huge game changers for me. Review your message before you send it. Again, especially an important one. You know, if it's a quick, hey, I need this attachment, just send the attachment. But, you know, if it's important, review it before you send it. Get someone to review your email if you're unsure about tone or content. Yes, even professional writers do this. Also, just people at their jobs do this. I have definitely, you know, helped people like, I have to write this email. I'm really nervous about it. Can you take a look at it? Yes. You know, it's just something we do. And also, this is one of those things that I should do more often and I don't, but don't complete the to section of the email until your message is just right. If you're writing a reply, delete the email address and retype it at the very end. This small step, which again, I don't follow as often as I should, it will save you embarrassment. How many of us have accidentally sent an email too early because our pet was messing around and wanting attention and they hit the right number of keys with their paw and off it went. Or we were typing really fast and not paying attention and we hit magically without intending to hit the, you know, just the right keystroke to send the email off and we sent it without it being done. We've all done it. So, we sent it out, we knew we had to proofread something and then we sent it too early. So type that to section at the very end, it will save you embarrassment. And again, even I don't always do this all the time and I really should, because we're not perfect. So questions. It doesn't seem like it. So I'm going to pull up our assignment description just to review it one more time, and then we will have our peer critique. All right, so there it is. And in the future, I won't necessarily go over every assignment quite this much. It is the first assignment, people like knowing these things, or people like, maybe having a little reassurance. So you're doing a memo. Now, again, we are about to do peer critique, so hopefully you all have your memo here. If you, for some reason, don't have a draft ready to go, I'm screen sharing right now, but send me a private message after I stop screen sharing and we'll figure something out. So the scenario, you send work communications. And so you've got one of these topics: good news, bad news, project proposal, sales pitch, etc. And a lot of these requirements are covered in the peer critique form. Standard heading, so refer back to the sample document. Single spaced, keeping it to one page as best you can, 1-inch margins and standard font. Word document or PDF. And you will do that, you will submit it by clicking here on memo assignment. If you want to view the rubric ahead of time, click that button in the assignment. You can see there's heading, general formatting, length, topic, intro, body paragraphs, your wrap up, tone, sentence structure, and spelling. And then you will go browse local files and upload as an attachment and hit submit. Please do not copy and please do not hit write, do not, so X on, do not write submission and copy and paste. Please browse and then upload as an attachment. One other thing before we begin, again, it's the first assignment. There's always confusion. So if you if you made this mistake, please don't feel bad, because it's the first assignment and we're still getting in the swing of the class. Some people already uploaded their memo, even though we haven't had peer critique yet, or you haven't had a conference with me yet. Again, not the end of the world. So I've configured Blackboard to accept multiple submissions. So if you already uploaded your draft prematurely, that's okay. You can just do it again by the deadline. You shouldn't have an issue. And that's why I set it up to accept multiple submissions. So it's only set up for you to do it twice. But I realized that people are just going to submit things early when they didn't mean to, and it's okay. So just resubmit after you revise. All right, I'm going to, is this the, yeah. So this is the link to the peer critique form. I'm posting it again. Sorry. Message from another student. Okay, so I just reposted that link in case you need it. So what you're going to do is download that and you're going to type it in. But here's the procedure. I'm going to put you in groups. And for those of you who don't have a draft ready, thank you for letting me know. I'm going to put y'all into a group and give you an alternate thing to work on. So I'll put you in groups of 2 to 3. And then in your groups, read your drafts out loud. And guess what? I know no one likes reading out loud. I don't even like reading out loud, but it works. And that's why I make you do it. It works. No one likes it, but it works. Trade. So trade papers, I recommended sharing via Google Docs. And then sorry. So trade papers, fill out peer critique form. I had a brain blip because also this is different from the system I used. Zoom doesn't work the way Blackboard Collaborate did. So I'm like, wait, how am I gonna run certain things? And then discuss your feedback. And then when you are done, come back to main room for just a debrief, or sometimes I call it a mini conference with me. Have one question to ask. If you're like, I don't know what kind of questions to ask, on the front of the peer critique form, there's some suggestions. So if you haven't done already, so Sarah, the form is in my Google Docs, so that should be the link. I'm going to sign manually. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, sorry, I'm going to put people in groups manually. I'm trying to do math. So, okay. Oh, there we go. Cool, this is actually working. All right, we will have one group of 3. Okay, so I'm going to put you into your breakout rooms. Again, follow this procedure, and when you are done, just come back to the main room to do a debrief with me. And so that'll be on your, so no rush, like that's the other thing. I don't expect all groups to finish at the same time. Just rejoin in the main room whenever you are done.
Last.
All right, hey y'all. I just wanted to check in because so thank you for being honest that you didn't have a draft ready. I appreciate that. It makes it a little easier when configuring groups. So what would be most helpful to you right now? Would it be helpful if I just gave you the next 30 minutes or so to just work on your drafts, and then you just again have a little check-in with me at the end about how it went and things you can improve on, or is there something else that would help you?
Yeah, so I think that might help, but I still kind of like might need some guidance, I guess, in figuring out how to start.
Okay, so okay, you still need a topic, Zoe? Is that what I'm hearing?
Topic? Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just trying to gauge where people are at, because like sometimes people have started and they haven't finished a draft. So, Aaron, where are you at? Have you started at all? Or do you have a partial draft?
No partial draft. I was I thought there were examples on Blackboard, and so I was waiting until Monday for the Labor Day weekend. And when I was trying to looking at some examples because it's not that difficult for me. I overthink it,
Yeah.
and then I just become frustrated. So I couldn't find examples, and what I was trying to do seemed too difficult. I was just overthinking it, and so I
Okay.
guess I could say I gave up on that. Yeah.
So just to clarify, so you couldn't find, I posted I attached the sample memo when I sent out the week 2 live class video. So did you not get that, or did you just miss
that one? Yes, and I actually wrote it, did it myself. So I had that one.
Okay.
And I just didn't want to. I guess it was just a personal thing that I just didn't want to repeat what we did in class. I kind of wanted to try a different type of memo to get familiar with it.
Yeah. So just to tell you about my methods, I don't give a lot of examples because I found when I give a lot of examples, people actually tend to not do as well. Because what people do is they find the example of the thing they want to do and they just sort of like copy it, which doesn't help. It does not demand the same level of critical thinking. So I found when I started doing fewer examples, grades actually went up when I started doing fewer examples. So that's why I do it. I didn't give minimal examples to try to sabotage you. It is simply something I started doing because I noticed people started improving.
I understand that. I understand that totally.
Yeah. So, okay. Both of y'all need to get started. I'm just trying to think of like the most effective way to do that. So you both need topics.
Can
either
I
of you-
throw some ideas that I was thinking about? Because again, I thought I was overthinking it and maybe too challenging. I was thinking of maybe doing like a new hire memo, an annual report memo. My wife works dental, so I was thinking like a quarterly memo, like something along those lines.
Yes. So these are good. They're they can be like a little broad. So which one of those is one that's going to be most simple for you to do in about a page?
Probably a new hire one.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And when you say new hire memo, is this like welcoming a new hire, or is this introducing a new hire to some standards of the company? What was your plan for that?
Yeah, I was thinking along the lines of I know some sales jobs funnel in a certain amount of people, like a group of people every quarter, and they want to know like who stayed, who they retained, who left.
Yeah.
Out of the trainees. So it's just like a real simple thing. Like we had this many people coming in, and this is how many people stayed. This is who left. Type of concept, maybe.
No, that's great. I think that's good, and I think that's a solid topic. It's relevant, and it's something you can do in a page. So I think you are definitely on the right track. Do you just want time to work on that and then check in with me at the end?
Yeah, I can start working on it, and then I can check back in for sure.
All right, cool. So, and then Zoe, you can hang tight and I will help you develop a topic in a second. So, Aaron, you probably don't want to like overhear us brainstorming, but you could go back to the main room. You could even sign out of Zoom entirely to work, but I do ask that you would rejoin at about 11:15 just to do a check-in with me on how it's going, and ask any questions that I can help with.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just leave this room and just go to the main room.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So, all right, we've got this room. We had, so on the topic list, we looked at a progress report as an example in class last week. I also gave some suggestions of like doing a good news announcement, a bad news announcement, something that's just sort of general to the company, like just a general announcement that's more neutral. You could be doing a brief project proposal, a brief sales pitch, or something else. So I guess, do you have any ideas, or are you just totally just in the weeds at this point?
Right. So currently I'm just trying to like apply my own real life situations,
Mhm,
like what kind of topic I can write about.
mhm.
So, like on my own time, I do like a lot of like journalistic stuff.
Oh, cool.
I review a lot of music, new and old. And I'm trying to think like I also do a lot of data tables.
Oh, great.
There are a fair amount of things I do on my own time, I guess. So yeah, progress reports. I do briefly remember that last class.
Mhm.
Well, like I was trying to follow along, just
Yeah.
to see like how to properly write a memo.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so like I guess a lot of people are writing their memos about like using one of the examples that you used.
I mean, I haven't looked at anybody else's. So you and Aaron are the first two actual conversations I've had with anybody yet. So I'll find out more about people's topics when they debrief with me. But at the moment, I don't know what topics people have chosen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the topic can be effectively like is there anything that can't write about?
I mean, I mean, it's hard to say like a definitive no. Like certainly anything like super unprofessional probably would not be useful. Hold on. Since you said you do a lot of stuff with data, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of like statistical analysis. I do like synopses of a bunch of like different uh like a bunch of different music artists I listen to.
Mhm.
Like one project I'm doing is like listening through every #1 hit, and
Oh
just
yeah, I
like
remember you talking about that.
yeah. There's a lot of really bad ones, but they're so I guess like because I'm trying to think of like
So what I'm actually going to do, so the stat stuff really spoke to me, and I haven't, the reason I didn't do like more of a data oriented memo for this week is because we're going to be talking about data a lot more in the semester, and I didn't want to overwhelm people. But here's a link to a Google Doc with a more data analysis oriented memo. And again, I'm sharing that with you because that seems to be something that is in line with your interest. So click on that and take a look and see if that might be something that's sort of more up your alley.
okay, where did you send me this?
Oh, shoot. I accidentally sent it to everyone. There you go.
Okay, well now I see it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's see. Where'd the chat go? I'm not seeing it. Oh wait, I think I got it. Yeah, okay, I found it. All right, well, I have my laptop out. I'm gonna just go ahead and type this out. It's
Okay.
easier for me to use.
Would it be easier for me to just screen share this with you then? Or
Well, I'm using my phone for
Okay.
Zoom,
okay.
so yeah, I know consistency. But you know,
And so this memo is like sort of like it's the same scenario as the first memo with like the progress report on the paint job, but it's more got like an analysis and a chart with a timeline in it. And so I wanted to show that to you to show that like you could actually do more stuff with, again, with charts, with data, being a little more analytical if that was something that appealed to you.
yeah, for sure. Sorry, still typing it out.
It's fine.
These weird little coded links.
Would it help if I emailed it to you?
And I almost have it typed out.
Okay.
537. Okay, got it pulled up.
And so,
All
yeah,
right.
so, you know, the first bit is the same. But then, so the heading, the introduction is basically the same. And then notice that in the body, there's an analysis that is much more detailed. So hiring is a 7-day duration. So rather than talking about like work completed or work completed and then work in progress, here is a breakdown of that actual like analysis they did. So this is sort of a memo like before that would be sent before the project officially started.
Okay.
Right. So the hiring is 7 days. Here are the dates. Local training is 3 days. Transportation is da, 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 da. Cleanup, walkthrough, final inspection. See attached chart. And then considerations. So explaining, so instead of just like general comments, but considerations like explaining the data. Calculated, so the 10-day duration was calculated on hiring highly skilled workers. Then training would only focus on policies and OSHA regulations. So again, explaining the data in more detail. Then talking about the limitations of the data. Which again, this is all stuff we're going to be getting to, but it sounds like that's stuff you already sort of know how to do a little bit. And of course, then there's the chart at the end and the sign off. So if that's something, that's like more data analysis oriented or just more analytical in general would be helpful to you, you can go about it that way.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm guessing you're probably not wanting like almost a carbon copy of like what this looks like.
No.
Okay.
Again, that's part of why I don't give a lot of examples, because then I get a lot of carbon copies and I'm just like, but you haven't shown me you've learned how to do it on your own.
I mean, it's flirtatious with plagiarism, so
It is, and that's a thing I try to help people avoid.
yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to think. Okay, so okay, got the date, to from subjects. Okay, projected analysis timeline. I'm just looking through it right now.
That's fine. Take your time.
Okay, cool. 10-day duration. So does it say like what kind of job this is?
It's like a painting job. But like sort of like sort of an industrial one. That's in the
Yeah.
introduction. Turnaround, a revamp of the painting system.
Oh, I see. Okay. Kind of skimming a bit.
That's fine.
Let's see, hiring, local training. So, is the goal of these memos just being like, is there an informal or formal like gap?
We're going more formal for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty formal.
Yes. Most of the stuff we're going to be doing in this class is going to skew toward the formal side.
Right on.
And there will be some wiggle room in there, but yeah, most of it we're going more formal, just because I just want you to have practice with knowing how and when to apply that sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, because I am historically known for being very informal in different environments. So might be a good skill to learn.
So it's always worth practicing, you know, especially because sometimes you just never know when you're going to need it. I had one scenario where, like, you know, again, I'm really casual with my department chair, but then I had to reply to him in an email that a bunch of like deans and VPs were CC'd on, and I was super casual with him. And then I was like, oh God, I really shouldn't have done that.
Hopefully.
You know, I didn't pay attention to the fact that, like, oh, there's some people on here that I should definitely not be casual around.
Well, I mean, at least you weren't like insulting people at work or whatever
Yeah.
in the message.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've never done that. So is the memo supposed to be at least 1 page, or is it 2?
We're aiming to keep it definitely no more than 2, but aiming to keep it closer to 1. These examples are a little longer, but again, I want to encourage all y'all, shorter the better.
Yeah, okay. So I'm also seeing the like what do you call it? Not like the heading, but so just the title of every determining like which part of the passage is in. So for example, introduction, analysis, and considerations, limitations, etc. Are you going to want like the same kind of titling in most of your memos?
It really depends on the memo, because you notice in the progress report memo, it had different headings because it was covering different things.
Yeah, so progress report, I remember that it was just kind of analyzing like what the worker, I guess, who they were sending the memo to.
Yeah.
They were just determining like what they need to work on, as well as like you know, progress.
Yeah.
And noting what they're improving in and what we need to work on. So I'm kind of thinking that I could do a progress report, because knowing myself, I'm really good at telling people when they're wrong. So I think that could be a fitting topic for me to go off of.
Yeah,
I
sounds
guess
good. Yeah.
I guess the main thing now that I'm just trying to determine is like what kind of field, like what kind of job I would make this progress report for.
Yeah. There's someone who appears stuck in the main room. So I should actually go and check to see if he needs to be reassigned to a breakout room.
Okay.
I can definitely help you with that. I just need to go take care of that. So I gotta hop out and make sure this student has somewhere to go. So I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good.
So is everyone here done and ready for a conference, or are some people I see, yeah. Ken, oh yeah, Aaron, I know you're working. Quincy, are you done with your critique? Oh, you were having audio problems. Okay.
I was able to actually complete the draft.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go help Zoe with one more thing, and then I will be back to do a quick conference with you. All right, I am back. So what kind of job you would tailor this progress report to? So when you're thinking about, I mean, you can think about a job you have now, or a job you would like to aspire to in the future, and try to target your memo to that.
Yeah, so one job field that I was interested in kind of getting into is like possibly working for Billboard.
Oh, cool.
So I'm trying to think of like what fields in Billboard they have, because I know that there are people who keep track of the charts, kind of combine the data of like how much airplay a song is getting along with how many streams it's getting, and passing off that information to the Billboard overlords or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there are people who just write articles.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little bit more my jam, just
Okay.
because I do a lot of write-ups.
Yeah.
Usually very informal, because I really err more on the side of being like an online personality, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not really earning money from it. I just kind of do it for fun.
Sure.
But I guess like because I could get in touch with a progress report with like a hypothetical writing staff person, and just tell them which parts may need revisions.
Oh, so like an editorial summary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could totally do an editorial summary. Yeah.
Okay. Editorial summary.
That's just when you're talking, that's the actual like formal name for something like that you're talking about, is an editorial summary, which is like feedback from an editor to a writer that's in a condensed form summarizes the information. So
yeah, is that kind of what peer critiquing is?
I mean, kind of. We're not. An editorial summary is like something that's like a correspondence from editor to writer. I give you a form that's sort of more of a checklist, and then you discuss your feedback. So it's a little different. You're not providing like a written paragraph or anything.
Okay. But a checklist might be in order.
So take a look at the peer critique checklist that I shared. The link is in the email I sent out this morning. And, go, check that against your own draft.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on Blackboard right now, so I'm pulling it up.
All right. I do have people who are ready for conferences, so I've got to head back to the main room. So
Okay.
you can work a little while and you can just come back to the main room and ask a question whenever you're ready.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, y'all, I am back. Sorry for the delay. I've just been going and had to help some people one-on-one. I'm just trying to think. All right. Sorry, I'm again getting used to the technology. Sorry, again, this is just a little different than how Blackboard used to be. I'm still getting used to it. If you are comfortable asking a question about your draft in the main room, let me know. And if you are not comfortable, let me know and I'll still ask your question, but we can go off into a breakout room so we can talk one-on-one. I don't imagine anyone would have like a sensitive question, but I also know people sometimes feel insecure about asking about their writing in public. All right, Ken, go ahead, ask me your question.
Yeah, I guess, well, I don't know if it's better just as you haven't seen it yet, but I was going to ask you about how the title and heading should be formatted on the memo. And
Okay.
I didn't quite, understand that process.
That's fine. Let me pull up the, I'll just pull up the original.
Okay. I made some slight edits since then.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm just going to pull up the original sample we looked at in class. And I'll just review it with you. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And this will be good. And just so you know, again, anyone who's like hesitant about asking a question in front of everybody, that's okay. I understand. And also people will benefit. So here's our original. So we would have memorandum, or if you were doing a title, your title would go up there. So that would be very top. And then the standard is the date, to, from, and subject. Sometimes the date is in slightly different places. But more or less that's how you structure all of that top matter.
Thank you. And the use of bolding in this, is that appropriate? Is that fine? Is that?
Yes, that's pretty standard. That's standard because again, we want to draw attention to the levels of information. So we want to draw attention to, hey, here's the title or the memorandum. Hey, here are these key pieces of information. Hey, here are the section headings. So that use of bolding is definitely appropriate.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Nicholas.
I just had a real quick question about this. Do you think it's circumstantial to use like introduction, work completed, and like those header dividers kind of?
Yeah, and again, if you're not writing a progress report, you would change your headings appropriately. So I'm going to pull up another example. And as I was telling Aaron, I don't give a ton of examples because then people tend to over adhere to them. But here to take a look. So this is again on the same subject. It's the paint job, but this is an analysis of how long everything is expected to take. So we still have the introduction, which is the exact same as the memo we looked at the other day. But then here's the analysis. Breaks everything down factor by factor. Considerations. This is a section that explains some of the caveats to the data, like calculated on hiring highly skilled workers, therefore training would only focus on company policies and OSHA. Data, some of the limitations, such as, weather conditions, did not include. And this particular one includes a chart. Please do not worry about making a chart. We're not really covering that. That's why I didn't show this as an example, general example, but I did pull this up because I just wanted to show you, if you're writing on a different topic, your section headings would just reflect what your memo is actually about.
Okay. And then also, like, do you think that also the reason why they added section headings would be because of the length of the information provided?
I mean, the reason for section headings is, so in technical writing, what we want to do is it's called chunking. It's a word I hate, but it's called chunking, where we break all of the information into discrete chunks. And then we have headings because the reader wants to be able to just pick out that information clearly. So the introduction, that's a chunk of information. The analysis is a longer chunk of information. The considerations are important and the limitations are important, but they're their own chunks of information. So we set them apart with headings because we want to make sure that the reader finds them and sees them and reads them. If we just lumped this all in, if we just took away all these headings and lumped everything together, some of that important information might get overlooked. So when we have these headings, it's like, hey, pay attention to these limitations of our analysis.
Okay. And then would you be able to, if I share mine, would you be able to let me know if I need to add section headings?
So I would like everyone to add section head. So
Okay.
I would like everyone to add section headings.
Okay.
I will look at it and I can make suggestions for your section headings. But I would just like everyone to have section headings, yes.
Okay. All right. Then that's probably what I was missing then.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So, all right. Got questions from Aaron and Ken. Sorry, it's from Nicholas and Ken. And by the way, if once I have answered your question and you've gotten what you need, you are welcome to hang out and listen to the other questions, or you are free to go about the rest of your day. So Aaron, Quincy, Sarah, do any of y'all have a question for me that you're fine to ask in front of the group?
My question got asked. I'm just kind of hanging out.
All right, great. No, I'm glad. So yeah, again, sometimes that's why it's good to be in front of a group. So Aaron, you're good. Sarah, you're good. Quincy, what about you? Okay, cool. Section heading and paragraph lengths. Yeah. And remember, just paragraph lengths are pretty short for this. In that analysis report or memo we looked at, that analysis section was definitely the longest, but it was still, let me find the whole thing for that section. So that was longer because it had bullet points, but that whole section was only 212 words. So pretty short. The major section in the progress report, only 142 words. And if you're like, that's so many words, you can all write 100 words easily, you're fine. The progress report memo we looked at is only 340 words. Most of these paragraphs, so the work in progress is the longest, but most of the other paragraphs are in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 sentences. Same with the analysis that we just looked at for formatting. The analysis paragraph is the longest, but everything else is about 3 to 5 sentences. Zoe, do you have any questions for me?
Well, at the moment, I'm just kind of still figuring out how to, I guess, well, yes, actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
So trying to think of how to phrase it. Like, I guess when it comes to talking, like, theoretically, hypothetically, to workers about drafting out editorials properly,
Mhm.
would I go ahead and should I go ahead and do that in the introduction, or would it be best advice to do it a little further into the memo?
That would be more appropriate for the body of the memo because that's going to require more detail.
Okay.
So the introduction is short. It's going to be one of the shortest parts of the memo. And that is just providing the context for what the whole rest of the memo is about.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it for now.
All right, great. And there are still people in breakout rooms who are going to shuffle in, but I'm just waiting on them. So again, if y'all feel confident, you are free to go, or you are free to hang out and work until they come back, and I'll take their questions. But yeah, other than that, you are good for class this week. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, all right, cool. People are coming in. I'm going to just send a message to the last group, just reminding them. All right, cool. People are wrapping up. So I've been taking questions for the group with the group of everyone who's in here. If you feel intimidated by asking a question about your draft in the group, first of all, people probably have your question and it will help them. And if you still feel uncomfortable, we'll save you for the end, and we can go in a breakout room. I'm just going to call on people in order that they came back. So Caesar, what questions do you have for me about your draft?
Honestly, I would like if you could just review it with me. As far as like a one-on-one, because I feel like the details.
It's got to be a specific question.
Oh.
That's like, look, the memo, the writing assignment is like the test. Like you don't tell your math teacher, can you review my test and tell me if it's good? You can review with Catherine, but I just take specific questions.
Oh, yeah, I would like to. I don't have any specific questions as of right now. I was just like more of a review. I think would be best suited for me.
Okay, then definitely try to make Catherine's tutoring session on Thursday. And if you can't, I recommend setting up an appointment with her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Ahmed, what questions do you have for me about your draft?
I don't really have any question about the draft.
Okay.
Thank you.
Marco, what about you?
My question was, would a comment section count as a subsequent paragraph?
Um,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
so
We're
so you would have like your main section, and then, so are you asking if the comments should just not be its own section, or are you asking if it should be lumped into another section?
No, more so it's because I'm trying to go off this rubric. It's asking for at least one body paragraph.
Yeah.
I have an intro and a comments paragraph, and then I have like bullet points in between those.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
But what you may want to do is, but one thing I do want to mention is straight bullet points are often not as effective without, something leading into them and some text leading away from them. So
Right.
think about so if you've got an introduction and you've got comments, great. If your whole body section is just bullet points, you'll want to add an opening and a closing.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Edna, what questions do you have for me?
I guess for me, it would just be, how do I summarize the letter without actually sounding like I'm repeating everything?
So summarize what letter?
So my memo was more tailored towards like the work study job that I have right now.
Oh, great.
And so the teacher that I work for asked us to work on a MOS certification. So we were looking for that information. And so I have my body and I have my bullet points and I have my closing,
Okay.
but I didn't like summarize it. Right? That's what you were asking us to do, to summarize.
So explain it to me again, what's your specific work study job?
So I just work for a department chair, and she just asks us to so right now what I'm working on right now is getting the department certified
Okay.
for MOS. And so I was looking into the websites, different websites. She gave us one in particular.
Mhm.
And so that's the one that we looked for information on. Maybe it'll work if I read it. So yeah, I did the date, the to, the from, and then the subject, the MOS certification. And then I started the letter with what websites we looked into, and then one in particular, the website that gave us all the information. So I have a couple bullet points of the information that we found on that website. And then at the end, I put, we contacted the sales rep for the information. And then underneath that, I just closed it with, don't hesitate to reach back. But in the rubric, I think I saw that you wanted us to like summarize the whole memo, like in the closing section. So that's the part where I'm like,
Let me
So I do that.
let me pull up my rubric real quick. So let's see, closing, wrap up. So I'm not looking for a summary in the wrap up, but in the introduction, you should have a general view of the subject and the contents of the memo.
Yeah.
So one thing you might do is, rather than the introduction being just about websites that you looked at, like, why did you even look at these websites to begin with? Like, that's probably your real starting point.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, you don't need to like summarize in the wrap up. But you do need to, wrap up. But it sounds like if you include the contact information, it sounds like you've done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Destiny, any questions for me?
No, I don't have any.
All right, great. Well, in that case, we have come to just about the end of our time. If you do need to hang around and ask something else, you're welcome to. Other than that, you are free to go for the rest of your Tuesday.
Do I remember you saying this assignment is due today? Oh,
No, it's due Friday.
Friday. Okay. I'm
Yeah, you
sorry.
have till Friday to revise.
Very good. Thank you so much.
So, yeah, and again, if you have time, you can make an appointment with Catherine, or she's got a session 6 o'clock on Thursday, and I've been taking notes on all of the questions people have been asking, so I can say, hey, like, just people might need more help with these things. So she's actually preparing in advance.
Great. I'll schedule a review session with her. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Will you be uploading the first half of the class that you're?
Yeah,
you
the video will go up. It doesn't go up instantaneously because the video has to convert from Zoom, and then I've got to upload it to YouTube. But I'll be doing that at some point this afternoon, so you can definitely expect it before the end of the day.
Okay, much appreciation. For some reason, I'm not very familiar with Zoom, so this is my first time using it on here. I usually use like Google Meet and stuff, so I didn't realize how to do the join to hear your audio. I was like tweaking. I was like, this makes no sense. I can hear everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, anyways, thank you so much. Take care.
You're welcome.
Do we have any homeworks?
Just
Or
revise your draft based on peer critique today, and then turn it in by Friday to Blackboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.